Okay, we're going to integrate the Pitchit AI lead insights into a system of record like HubSpot so that a CRM knows every single time the AI agent, either voice or text based, has identified something new about a recipient that it's talking to. And there's a couple of steps that need to be done. I'm going to use HubSpot as an example, but most of the CRMs will be pretty similar in how you set them up. Today I'm going to use Zapier for this. So the trigger is going to be a lead insights update. And so let's go ahead and hit edit. I'll kind of reverse engineer how I made this. The first step is in your trigger to pick Pitchit. Now there's a bunch of versions of Pitchit. At the time of shooting, 3.0.4 is the most up to date. The trigger event needs to be that a lead insight update has occurred. That's different than a lead priority update. So think of lead priority as cold, warm, hot, closed won, lost, right? Stop, slash, unsubscribe. Those are priorities or statuses of a lead. The insights is essentially like the why. So why is it warm? Why is it hot? What do we know about this person? And that's quite a bit different than some of these other ones, like a meeting booked, a pitch being sent, or a reply being received. This is basically what has the AI learned about this deal or this person we're talking to. After that's been selected, lead insights update, sync your account with Pitchit. So just choose your account, set it up. It'll kind of walk you through the steps. Then under configure, you can have it pull insights only from specific campaigns. Now this might be relevant for some of you if you only want lead insights extracted from a broadcast or a specific workflow inside of Pitchit. For the purposes of this demo, I just want all insights from all campaigns to always update to my CRM. So I'm going to just choose select all. But you could, if you wanted, you could actually select any individual workflow or broadcast campaign. The next step is to actually fetch a test result. You probably have a few. You can click Find New Records, and it will pull a couple of samples. That part's really important so that you actually have something to use in the next steps. So the next step that we're going to do is the action. So we're going to do the action of finding a contact in HubSpot. So keep in mind that Pitchit talks to an individual at a company, not to a company. And so when you're integrating this with a CRM, it's probably going to ask you to first find that individual you're talking to. So the event is going to be to find a contact, and then you're going to sync your HubSpot account. In the configure section, what you're looking for is the two unique identifiers that most systems of records use, and that's the email of the person you're talking to and or the phone number of the person you're talking to. And so the first search property name here should be the email address. So just look inside of all of the different properties that you use for HubSpot, and you can search in here something like email. It's very likely going to be toward the top, contact information, email. And then under first search property value, you're going to look for a dynamic value. And that is where you're actually going to select the value from Pitchit. And Pitchit's going to send you all the things that we know about this person, find the email, and sync it, map it to that section. So what's happening here is first things first. Let's go over to the contact record. Zapier is basically searching this person's email, dot, Layarit, and it's basically going to find out if there's a hit. In this example, there's a hit on the first value, but let's say that there wasn't. Maybe it was misspelled, or maybe they have multiple emails. Then it goes on to the second one as a waterfall. And the second property name that we're going to search for is phone number. So choose contact info, phone number inside of your dropdown. And then the dynamic value you want to integrate here should come from Pitchit, and you're going to sync the lead phone number, right? And so what that's going to do is if it can't find the person by email, then it's going to search the phone number. So 530-284, and it had a hit on that as well. So it hit both, but you can continue down and do more and more property names as search values, as backup plans. And then I'm going to tick this box so that if it can't find a email or a phone number to any person that exists in HubSpot, we actually want to go ahead and create it, because that means that somehow in our workflow, Pitchit got a lead that is not in your system of record, and we don't want that. We want your system of record to know who we're talking to in Pitchit and have record of all of those contacts. So this is a little fail-safe in the event that someone on your team loaded up a lead into Pitchit but forgot to put it into your CRM first. tick the box to create something if it doesn't exist. You can test it if you want. In my test, it says that it did find the contact. Move on to creating another step. So you can click Add Step. And this step, we're going to also do HubSpot as an action. The action event is going to be to find an association. And then you're going to sync your HubSpot account. Under configure, I did keep the default where if an association is not found, meaning that this particular contact, let's open them up. If this contact does not actually have a deal attached to them, then this whole entire Zapier Zap is basically pointless because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is update a deal card. And if there is no deal card that exists, then it's pointless to continue the automation. So you should just stop. I will leave a little caveat here that if you don't want to update the deal as the ultimate endpoint, then you can update the contact. And maybe in real time, we'll create a little contact action. And that's because not all the time will there actually be a deal associated with the person. And so this will effectively halt if it cannot find a deal attached to that person's contact. Second step is it's going to ask, what is the actual ID of this person? So inside of HubSpot, you'll notice that there's basically a record at the end. These little numbers here are identifiers of Emerson Rollins in this case. And so 803722 is that dynamic value that is pulled from the final part of the URL. This is effectively the person's user ID inside of HubSpot. Now this is dynamic, and so what you'll do is you'll click the little plus button, you'll go over to the HubSpot button, and this last step that we did actually found that contact ID. And so you'll click the ID here and map it automatically. That's why it's important to test the step prior because we want an ID to show up. The third question here is, what's the type of object? Well, this is a contact ID, so you're going to choose contact here. The number of associations we want is just one. I just want one contact and one deal. And then the type of object we're associating it with is the deal card. So we're opening this contact with this ID, and we're looking for one connection to one deal card. That is what we're telling the Zap to do. And if it can't find anything again, you basically just skip everything thereafter. Have a quick test. It's going to say that it did find a deal and that this is the deal. So now I'm going to do what Zapier is doing. It's effectively opening the deal. This is the deal ID, right? It matches the deal ID that it says it found. Good, that step is working. And now the final step is we're going to update this deal. So HubSpot, basically click Add Step, choose HubSpot, choose Update Deal, sync your HubSpot account. Under the Configure section, you now should have a dynamic value under Find Associations. This is a new value that should have popped down because of the last step. Open it up and choose Contact to Deal. That is basically saying, where are we putting this update? What is the object ID? And as I just showed, it's this one, 2958, and map it. So choose that value here. Go ahead and click this value, map it here. The next thing is you have to tell Zapier what it is that you want them to post in the deal. Now that we've found the contact, now that we've associated the contact to the deal, now that we've found the deal associated to the contact, what do you want us to write? And so what I do, at least in our HubSpot account, we have a bunch of custom values. So questions that we ask leads to know that they're qualified, those are all custom values. And then we have two more values that I created, one called Lead Insights and then one called Additional Information. Now these are both values available in the trigger of a Lead Insights update. And so what I've done is I have effectively created those properties custom in HubSpot and added them to the card of my company page so that it's just sitting here as like the most recent Lead Insights. That's definitely something you could do. Or if you don't want to just update the deal fields, and you'd rather post the Lead Insights here, then you can. So you can post it as a note. And so I've shown you an example. Additional information from Pitchit. The user's time zone is Mountain Time. We discovered that from a conversation with them. And the explanation of their lead priority is that they provide a time in the evening for a callback, which is explaining why it was marked as a hot lead, right? So you could put it as a note. You could map it as a deal card field. Now keep in mind, if you mark it as a field, It's a static value, so it's going to basically replace it. Every time that more insights are found about a lead, it's going to constantly replace that lead's deal card information, and that might not be what you want to do. If you want it to constantly add new notes as the conversation with this person moves on, then make sure that you choose to create a note instead of updating a deal. And so I'm going to update the deal in this example. The deal field that I created that was custom was called additional info. And so I'm going to find that deal field, and I'm going to go to the Pitchit lead insights update, and I'm going to map leads additional information to the additional information custom field I made in HubSpot. And then I'm going to scroll down until I find the next one that I made, which was called insights. So here it is. And just to remind everybody, I have created these. They are totally custom in HubSpot, lead insights and additional info. So I'm just mapping them. Lead insights here. Choose the custom mapping button, and then in here choose the lead priority explanation, which is basically the insights captured from them. Once that's done, you can click continue and test the step, and it should actually post them, which it has done, to the deal card. All right, next and final step here, I'm going to do an engagement inside of HubSpot. And so I want to make sure that in addition to deal cards being updated, we actually see something posting on the timeline of the deal and the contact. The engagement type will be a note in this situation. The note body, I'm going to go and create a custom value. Pitchit has those values. I'm going to give them nice little headers, lead priority, explanation, right? And lead additional information. Okay, that's going to post. Now the object ID of the contact, right, is something we should already have inside of Pitchit, the email, right? But the HubSpot ID, we need to do a custom object. So click on the little dot menu, hit custom, and then go to the find associations, actually find contact, and pull in the contact ID. And then the deal ID, we're going to also do custom. Under find associations, we have that deal ID here. And that should basically make it so it knows to post this as an engagement in both the company's timeline and the contact's timeline. And so let's do a quick refresh. I posted this one earlier, but if this works, it should be posting a second one. And it looks like it did. And you do have those nice little fields that I added manually as two separate line items. And so it has now updated on the timeline of the company page, basically the deal card, and it should have updated on the timeline, which it did, of the actual contact. Now, you've seen a couple of these posts just while I've been troubleshooting and getting this to work on the video, but long story short, this Zapier Zap is good to go. So go ahead and hit publish, and it should now, for every single time that Pitchit's having a conversation with one of your leads, as a lead insight is gathered that's new, it should find a contact in HubSpot, it should associate that contact to a deal, and then it should update that deal with the insights and the priority explanation of that conversation that's actively happening, and it should post those findings inside of the contact card and the deal card so that all over your CRM, no matter where you go, it's fully integrated with Pitchit. Thank you.